Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You are here with Austin from Ohio, and today is Monday, May 9th, 2022. Well, I'm happy to be back after my suspension was up a few days ago. Just waiting for the right time to actually sit down and, well, in this case right now, walk around and make this video. And I want to address that suspension. I don't think many people knew except for a few of you. They said that I went against the expert consensus and spoke negative about the experimental thing that they've been trying to get everyone to get. Yeah. If you actually watch that video and listen to it back like I did twice, I did not say anything about that. The only thing I said about it was a reference to it, but it wasn't to the thing itself. It was to the circumstances surrounding it and how all these people are losing their jobs and just everything we've seen. So I didn't disagree with expert consensus. This their words, not mine. I didn't disagree with expert consensus publicly like that. And I tried to appeal it, and they actually denied it like almost immediately. It was like 20 minutes. Usually takes like 2 or 3 days. There's a lot of stuff going on right now. Many of you probably already know about this one here. This is the involve.com, and this is the World Health Organization is preparing vote to strip the U.S. and 194 other nations of its sovereignty and give them total control of the world. Yeah, at first glance, sounds far-fetched, right? Well, maybe not if you've actually been paying attention the last 2 years during this entire operation, but this is in accordance with the reset. This is why they went the medical route. The World Health Organization falls under the purview of the United Nations. It's literally the medical arm of the United Nations. Okay, let's see. On May 22nd, that's coming up here pretty soon. 13 days, I'm pretty sure. Something like that. So just shy of 2 weeks, this will be happening. On May 22nd, the World Health Organization will vote on whether or not to strip 194 countries, including the United States, of their sovereignty. As part of the World Economic Forum's Great Reset goal, the WHO is aiming to alter a treaty that would give them global control over human health. This is absolutely terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. You know what they could do under this treaty? They can declare your country a health hazard or whatever they're going to call it, or give it the, big pandemic status, right? And they can come in and they can clean house, all under the guise of morality and the law. Which, the supreme law of this land is the Constitution, and the Constitution specifically states that no foreign treaty at all whatsoever can or should or would ever be able to supersede the United States Constitution unless we stood by and allowed it to happen. Guess what we've done? You guessed it. The WHO World Health Assembly will vote on the issue from May 22nd to 28th. In a new video, the Pulse Joe Martino interviews Shabnam Palesa Mohammed, a member of the steering committee of the World Council for Health, who points out that the treaty gives the World Health Organization, quote, an inordinate amount of power to make decisions in sovereign countries as to how people live and how they deal with pandemics, from lockdowns to mandates over treatment. Did you really let that one sink in? Anything from lockdowns to mandates over treatment. They've already been pretty successful with both of those. And that was done on a national level of each nation. Right? Imagine when they have this big, huge power force behind it that is the World Health Organization. In an open letter to the WHO's pandemic treaty, the World Council for Health writes, in part, quote, the proposed WHO agreement is unnecessary and it's a threat to sovereignty and inalienable rights. It increases the WHO's suffocating power to declare unjustified pandemics, impose dehumanizing lockdowns, and enforce expensive, unsafe, and ineffective treatments against the will of the people. And I'm sure there's more that goes along with that. This is just what's being named right now. But even if that was all of it, that's terrifying. Do you understand what that means? I really hope you do. It's the usual Marxist one-size-fits-all approach. Everyone will be on the same page, and science will cater to global political whims. All part of the reset, all part of Agenda 2030, all part of New World Order, all part of depopulation. If you need any proof at all on that, besides reading the, Agenda 21 or the Great Reset book or a Great Narrative book or anything like that, you could take a trip right on down to Georgia, and you could find yourself looking at the Georgia Guidestones, which we all know exactly what that is. It would cost millions of dollars or more. Money would be laundered by them in their pickpockets. The WHO appears to want to push the treaty through quickly without public participation and input. That's why you're not hearing about it on the media, and you never will. Whether you watch CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, even One America News or anything like that, any news agency, any kind of offshoot, tabloid, any kind of newspaper, they are all owned and controlled by the same 6 corporations and have been for a long time. Quote, "It is undemocratic, it is unconstitutional, and therefore it makes the treaty invalid and unlawful," Mohammed says. She also made a note of the many WHO health policy failures due to their conflicts of interest. Yeah, it is unlawful. It's much worse than we thought. The rule change includes very dangerous amendments. 13 of them. Imagine that. 13 amendments. Investigative reporter Leo Hamann reports that these amendments will not require approval by 2/3 United States Senate. It's not called a treaty, it's amending a treaty we are part of. But when you amend a treaty, if it says in there that this treaty can be amended without further signature or whatever, then yeah, they can do that all day long. But normally, if you alter a treaty or anything, contract in any way, it has to be reread and re-signed. But they're not even telling people about this. So what are people looking into right now? Johnny Depp's trial, the whole Roe versus Wade thing, which that in itself is just a way for them to get people to pick a side now more than ever, divide people even more than they already have. That's literally what that is. You got to ask yourself, why now? Anytime anything happens, why now? If they are approved as submitted by the United States by a simple majority of the 194 member countries of the World Health Assembly countries, these amendments would enter into force as international law. Just 6 months later, November 2022, the details of this are not crystal clear. So something like this would go into effect in November of 2022, this year. So we really need to spread the word about this, guys. We really need to get out and spread the word about this. And the other one that I have that I'm going to show you guys right after this one, we need to spread the word about that too. To anybody and everybody. And I will provide links. Our administration is actively destroying the Constitution by making us part of a global New World Order. It essentially wipes out 194 nation sovereignty, says investigative reporter James Roguski. And just basically his website, this gives us the one world government in an instant. And these are just ads and stuff. So this is their route. Right? This is what route these people are taking in order to get this done. Nothing has worked like a medical crisis. Terrorism didn't work, even though it really laid the bricks for where we are now. Random, what were those attacks? I guess you can consider that terrorism too, if you're going by their definition and all that. Make sure we're good here. Yeah, everything's looking good. Everything's still recording. Nothing's going wrong. Okay. Anyway, so if you take a look at like their definition of terrorism and all this stuff, you can put any number of things under there. Like, we're all considered terrorists. You, me, everybody in this chat, everybody in every single chat ever. We all fall under that purview because that's the way they wrote up that specific document. But nothing has got the entire world at the same time. Even 2 world wars have not got the world all in unison, in sync. Boom, lockstep. Nothing has ever worked like that except for this current, quote, crisis that we are going through. Real crisis, of course, is the taking over of the world by the New World Government, but that's, it's a whole different conversation to have with somebody. First, you got to prove the existence of said plot to them, which is fairly easy with everything that we have. You could pull up anything, quotes from the Rockefellers out of his memoirs, the Kennedy speech before his assassination, any number of the Bilderberg documents you can pull up and read if you can. Pretty hard to. Dozens and dozens of people that were killed for talking about this and exposing this. You can literally just go and listen to Bill Cooper's old broadcast if you want to get everything in a short amount of time. But yeah, this is coming up May 22nd through 28th. And guess what? We're not going to hear about it. We're not going to hear about it on television. We're not going to hear about it on the radio. You might not even hear about it on your social media pages unless you follow the right people. Most people are still talking about Republican versus Democrat, which is literally so irrelevant right now at this point in time. It's not even funny. It is so irrelevant to what's going on right now. They're arguing over which side of the government they want to rule over them, when in reality that said entire government has no real power. They're put there to give you the idea that you have some kind of choice in your life as long as you vote for the lesser of 2 evils. But what that really does, when you vote in their system, you're giving them permission. You're giving them permission to rule your life by checking one of those boxes, because you're partaking in their little game. At this point in time, I mean. It wasn't always like this. Let's move on. Okay, I actually brought this one up in my last video that got wiped, and I couldn't repost anything to show you guys because I was suspended, of course. But this is another thing that we need to get out there and spread the word about. And this is the 4th annual AI World Government. The one that doesn't exist. I'm just going to go over this, and I'll provide a link because there's a lot here. But I just want to show you guys all of the different agencies, United States government agencies that are involved in this thing, along with different corporations, NGOs, and the entire list is on here, but you got to really go through and look. But I'm just going to show you the overview page. Accelerating innovation in the public sector. Back for its 4th year, AI World Government. Federal government decision makers meet to share how they're leveraging AI to innovate and advance services with minimal risk and maximum return on investment. On stage, leaders present practical and technical processes for AI implementation, delivering case studies and the goals achieved and lessons learned along the way. Join senior agency representatives who return annually to hear government thought leaders' approaches to accountability models and frameworks, human centricity, cybersecurity and risk management, talent and change management, cloud infrastructures, AI software engineering, architectures, ethics, standards, key steps in achieving interoperability, building for scale, and much more. As in, what's the title of this thing? AI World Government. And it's going to be held October 6th and 7th, 2022 in Washington, D.C. in person and virtually. But what I really wanted to show you, you can go and view the agenda. See that? View the agenda. I'm not going to go there because I just want to show you guys this real quick because I already brought this up before. But I will provide a link to this as well. And these are just different conference programs that you can go through here. Okay, so here are the 2021 corporate host sponsors, right? And it's said that all these sponsors will be sponsoring. Again, that's why they put them on this page. Right? I'm not going to read all these, but I just want to come through here and show you guys. Look at that. Look at the titles of these guys. This guy's from DARPA. This guy's Executive Vice President and Chief Technology Officer of the SAS. This guy's from FEMA. The Future of Privacy Forum. Head of AI GSA Technology Transformation Services. Director, Artificial Intelligence and Technology Office, U.S. Department of Energy. Someone just messaged me and said they need some of my knowledge. That was very odd. Random people messaging me and telling me, like, why are you asking me what to do? Don't ask me how I knew that this was going on. Don't ask me what you can do. You figure it out for yourself. That's what we have to do. If you don't know anything's going on by now at this point in time, your head's not even buried in the sand anymore. You stuck your damn head so far in the ground that it went all the way through to the other side, back up, and right up your ass. And I'm not apologizing for that. Okay, so look at this. All these college professors, military professors, and there's more speakers, but these are just the speakers they have. But look, participating government agencies. I'll go real slow through here so you guys can read these. I don't feel like reading all of them again, but I'm going to provide a link so you guys can go through and look at this more yourself. But just take a look at the names on these government agencies and how many there are. It's every single one, by the way. Including NASA. Like, come on. Come on. Aviation Administration, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, the Transportation Safety Board, Geopolitical or Geospatial Intelligence Agency. There are so many. Also, United States Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marines. The Defense Information Systems Agency, the VA, the Census Bureau, the Post Office, General Services Administration, Commodity Futures Trading Commission, World Bank, United Nations, FDA, which these are the main FDA sub-organizations. Of course, the CDC and the National Institutes of Health. But do you see? Look at this, AI and sustainability. No, don't do that. Human-centered AI. You know what that means? Artificial intelligence that focuses on you. Not in the good way. So, to recap, the 4th Annual Artificial Intelligence World Government Symposium is going to be from October 6th through the 7th, 2022, Washington, D.C., and virtual. Are you not concerned about this? And as always, I'm not talking to my regular listeners. I'm talking to someone that just came across this video. Do you even think about this stuff? Do you just bury your head and just watch TV all day and do nothing and eat and sit there like a good little subject and do exactly what you're told? Because that's what's going on here. It is unreal the amount of people that still don't get it. They still don't understand that we are here. There's no more, oh, maybe in a couple of years, maybe in a decade or so. Like, no, this is going on right now. And if you want a good place to start with the book, COVID-19, The Great Reset by Klaus Schwab and his co-author, Thierry Mallerit. That is what you need to read so you can get at least a decent understanding of what's going on right now. We don't even have to go back and talk about all the false flags from before. It all set up for this. What's going on right now. This is an operation in order to force the entire world into the New World Order system that they have had built forever and have visioned for centuries. So again, if you don't know what's going on by now, I'm not sure that I can help you. Because I'm on here just bringing, this stuff to the people that are, into this, and they want to know, and they want to have solutions, and they want to talk amongst other like-minded people, and that's what's going on here. Moving on. Okay, here we are over at jonathanbretner.com. I don't think I brought this one up last time in my last video, so I'm going to read it right now. Transhumanism, the evil force behind the New World Order. The tribulation, New World Order, transhumanism, and the rapture. Again, I'm not sure what any of you believe about that, but as always, when we're going through this stuff, you take what you need, you leave the rest. It really shouldn't have surprised me, but I must confess that it did. Wikipedia's description of the New World Order, quoted below, amazed me when I read it the first time. And this is the Wikipedia definition. The New World Order is a conspiracy theory which hypothesizes a secretly emerging totalitarian world government. Yeah, you know, Wikipedia also says about the Great Reset that it was the name of the World Economic Forum's 50th or 50th meeting. Yeah, they say it was the theme and the name of their meeting. No, there's a whole book on it that says otherwise, written by the head, founder and executive chairman of the World Economic Forum, Mr. Klaus Schwab. They only talk about this New World Order every single day for the past however long. How stupid do they think we are? The days are long past when the Luciferian globalists of our day remain silent about their plans to bring about this evil agenda. The world government proposed by the UN's Agenda 2030 and the Great Reset of the World Economic Forum are open, public declarations of their united effort to usher in a new world order that is totalitarian and Marxist. In March of this year, President Biden talked about how the need to commit America to the New World Order, it's not secret, nor is it a conspiracy theory. Yeah, right off the bat. There you go. They're not hiding it. They don't have to hide it. They conduct their business in plain sight now, openly, and tell you they're doing it while they're doing it. They are also no longer quiet about their transhumanism goals, which lie at the heart of their plans to bring in the NWO. One might ask, what does transhumanism have to do with their plans for a communistic world government? Everything. They cannot force allegiance to the Great Reset without it. The two go hand in hand. Well, of course, you can't possibly subject the entire human race all at the same time unless you have some kind of upper hand or some kind of technology like this. That's why it could never be done before, except for one time in our world's history, but that was a long, long, long time ago. All right, Klaus Schwab, the driving force of the Great Reset. Transhumanism, along with the push for world governance, finds its most fervent support with Klaus Schwab, founder and head of the World Economic Forum. His position of influence over the governments of the world is immense. Since 1992, he has run a school to indoctrinate future global leaders, and the majority of all the presidents and leaders of nations today have gone through his training. Yeah, people like Mark Zuckerberg, Tulsi Gabbard, the one guy, he's like what's his name? Is it, no, damn it. He wears the eye patch. I forget his name, but he's like a news person. He like does interviews and stuff. Acts like he's on your side, but we know he's not. But yeah, all these people have gone through Klaus's training, and there's a lot more than those couple that I named. A ton more. Here's a quote from a blog post written by Leo Hamann, investigative reporter and blogger regarding this elite training given up-and-coming leaders of the world. Quote, in 1992, Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum launched a program initially called Global Leaders of Tomorrow. In 2004, this program was turned into the Forum for Young Global Leaders, a 5-year program of indoctrination into WEF's principles and goals. The aim was and is to find suitable future leaders for the emerging global society. The program has since its inception. Sorry. The program has since its inception has included politicians, business leaders, royalty, journalists, performers, other cultural influencers who've excelled in their fields but have not yet turned 40 years of age, originally 43 in order to include Angela Merkel. It has since grown into an extensive global network of dedicated leaders with enormous resources and influence, all working to implement the technocratic plans of the World Economic Forum in their respective nations and fields. They are not on your side. Democrat, Republican, it doesn't matter. None of these politicians are on your side at all. At all. They take orders from people that we don't even know. They don't hand down direct orders and pass legislation like we think they do, especially after the last 2 years. This is supposed to be the country where we, take pride in freedom, and people come here in search of a better life. That's the way that we've always done it. People come here to be free. They leave their oppressive states, and they come here to be free. But now, where can you go? The United States is not free, hasn't been free, my whole lifetime. Ever since I understood what freedom truly meant. I used to think that I was free when I was, in like middle school or whatever. I knew things were going on, but I, knew, and I was like, well, I'm still walking around, I'm still free. Just because you can free range whatever and go and graze doesn't mean you're free. Is the cow free of the farmer if he can walk around a 100-acre farm? Well, he can walk, he can eat when he wants, he can go get a drink when he wants. He can do anything he wants within those walls, within that fence. He's not truly free. And neither are you. Okay, the network creates a force for worldwide influence through the combination of individual skills and resources of its members. So, that excludes you or I. The school enabled Schwab to thoroughly instill in these leaders his vision for a one-world government, Great Reset, once thoroughly brainwashed in the agenda of the World Economic Forum and devoted to its ideals. They go out into the world as leaders of both governments and commerce. Yeah, and leaders in the medical industry and leaders in general. Klaus Schwab is also a key motivating force behind the push for transhumanism, which he calls the Fourth Industrial Revolution. His term for transhumanism, that's also a book by Klaus Schwab, so check that one out. Schwab talks often about merging the physical, digital, and biological worlds, the combining of people with machines. Yeah, so does Elon Musk, but people seem to be somehow duped into thinking that this guy's a champion of freedom and free speech. No, this guy's one of the spearheaders of the transhumanist movement. He openly talks about merging man with machine. And these people eat it up. I can't believe it. Every day I'm alive, I cannot believe that we've fallen that much further. This is not surprising. As most influential and cherished advisor to Klaus Schwab, and is also a leading proponent of transhumanism in the world, Yuval Noah Harari. Okay, so he's the man behind the curtain, and here he is. Harari is an Israeli public intellectual historian, best-selling author, professor at the Department of History at Hebrew University of Jerusalem. His main claim to fame is that he's the key advisor to Klaus Schwab, the World Economic Forum. His right-hand man, Harari's input to the ideals held by government and business leaders around the world is profound. Well, of course, this guy's a Zionist, proven in the paragraph above. When one goes to Harari's official website, immediately sees the quote on the home page. History began when humans invented gods and will end when humans become gods. Right? Is that not the original lie that these people have been trying to chase forever? Man becomes God, rules over other men, rules over all people. Yeah, the serpent told Eve, you will be as God, knowing good from evil. Leo Hamann also read the following quote concerning Harari from his interview with Patrick Wood, editor-in-chief of Technocracy News and Trends. Not only is Harari the key advisor to the head of the World Economic Forum, he has millions of devoted followers. And this is what he had to say. This is what Hamann had to say. He's your model transhumanist who thinks he can become God, Wood told me. He is the... No, so this is this Wood guy, never mind. Sorry, getting confused. He is the chief philosophical advisor to the World Economic Forum and one of the premier authorities in World Economic Forum circles. They just hang on his every word. The level of evil we are dealing with here is so intense that most Christians and conservatives have no idea how deep it goes and will frankly have trouble believing it. No politician is going to be able to save us from this evil, only Jesus Christ. That's a fact. Another thing worth noting is that Harari is not only tied in with Schwab, he has a large following among Western elites. One of Harari's admirers is Barack Obama, the man who has the ear of Joe Biden. In fact, Obama has called Harari his favorite author. So you see how these people are all connected, including former President Donald Trump. A lot of people really have a tough time believing that, but it's a fact. It is most definitely a fact. He's on the World Economic Forum's page. Like, you can look him up on the World Economic Forum's website, and it will come up exactly what he is. He's the agenda contributor. That's right. Remember we went over that? He's an agenda contributor. What does that mean? Exactly what it means. Give me a break. Give me a break. Yuval Noah Harari is the man behind the curtain. He's the driving force behind transhumanism, a key component of Schwab's Great Reset. Transhumanism rests on an atheistic evolution. That's a fact. The elite regard transhumanism as the next step in the human evolutionary process. While other development advancements happen to us, they say, now we get to have a say in the future enhancements of our race. The combining of humans with machines is but another step in continuing evolutionary progress of mankind. Transhumanists are avid atheists who see themselves as aiding the evolution of humanity. Yeah, remember when that guy was talking about hacking the software of life, right? And you got this guy talking about how they can go and they can hack human beings because we're nothing but hackable animals. And there's no need for governments or anything anymore because everything we can say, do, think, etc., you name it, can be altered through these technologies, through this artificial intelligence. Do not let the proponents of the New World Order or Great Reset deceive you. They all accept transhumanism as an essential step to convince people of the need for world governance. Some of these globalists may profess belief in God or allegiance to a church, but they are lying. They are all staunch atheists who reject all Scripture says about creation, especially Genesis 1:27, God created man in his own image. First of all, one problem I have with this article, they're not atheists. Some of them might be, but these people are staunch Luciferians. Why do you think they're trying to do all this? Okay, so transhumanism devalues human lives. If there's one verse to keep in mind when thinking about the transhumanists, it's John 8:44. In this verse, Jesus is confronted with the Jews who opposed him. Quote, you are of your father the devil, and your will is to do your father's desires. He was a murderer from the beginning and does not stand in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he lies, he speaks out of his own character, for he is a liar and the father of lies. So we see how they got so good at it, right? The proponents of the New World Order are all Luciferian transhumanists that lack all respect for human life. They have already deceived a great many people with their lies. Here are some quotes from Yuval Noah Harari that I took from an interview clips January. Sorry, I read that as January. Jan Markles bi-monthly Understanding the Times conference in Minneapolis on April 21st, 2022. This event also featured Pastor Brandon Halthaus and Pastor Mark Henry. In these videos, we watched Harari say the following. Humans are now hackable animals that will be re-engineered. Will be. This is number 2 at the World Economic Forum. This is Klaus Schwab's man right here. Previously, government surveillance was above the skin. Now it's going under the skin. So that's for anybody who wants to, disagree or not believe in implantable technologies, right? The free will to choose who we vote for, what we buy in the supermarket, human free will, that's over. So you see what these people are doing? They're trying to conquer humankind's free will that was given to us by God. Our free will was given to us for a reason. Can you see the devaluation of human life bubbling at the top of these quotes? Previously, I've written at length about how we see this in abortion, infanticide, war in Ukraine. Now with Harari, we see the same murderous agenda and deception that Jesus talked about in John chapter 8, verse 44. The transhumanists see us as hackable animals and that they hope to enslave and totally control. Harari also said this, which at first seems contradictory to his other declarations. Humans are acquiring divine powers and the power to re-engineer life. It might be contradictory to this guy's perception, but it's not contradictory at all. He is talking about humans as in them. They are acquiring divine powers and the power to re-engineer life. They will be as gods among this earth for 42 months. But you know what? So yes, he says that humans are acquiring divine powers, but perhaps it's only for those in power rather than those that the elite hope to control. Transhumanism is about the masses worshiping them as gods. It's not preparing the world for the coming man of lawlessness that Paul wrote about in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3 and 4. Let no one deceive you in any way, for that day will not come unless the rebellion comes first, and the man of lawlessness is revealed, son of destruction, who opposes and exalts himself against every so-called God or object of worship, so that he takes his seat in the temple of God, proclaiming himself to be God. The spirit of the Antichrist is alive and well in Harari. In one of the interviews I referenced earlier, Harari referred to Jesus' resurrection from the dead and his claim to be the Son of God as fake news. So that goes with the, mockers and scoffers part when describing the end times, when Jesus was telling the disciples when they asked him how we would know when he was coming back. Okay, so Jesus is our only hope. The Yohanan is correct. We are dealing with a force that's far more evil and I might add deadlier than anything we can imagine. Jesus is the only hope for the time in which we live. The Luciferian globalists are far along in their plans to bring about the NWO. It does not matter what the majority of people want. They have the power necessary to assert their control over our will. This happened with the 2020 presidential election in America. No, it did. Well, technically it did, but not in the way this guy's thinking. Because Trump is part of that. It happened in 2021 with the mandates that resulted in the deaths of a great many people. That's probably going to get me taken down. You better download this video. The riots took place all through Paris on April 24, 2022, were in response to the re-election of Emmanuel Macron, who many Parisians did not believe really won the election. Once the elite put digital currencies, hi, how you doing, in place across the world, it will be game over. They will have the control they need to begin tightening their stranglehold on humanity, which will then lead to the beast government of the tribulation period. As Harari stated, the goal of transhumanism, the will of the people, no longer matters. That's over. You understand that? Nobody will ever be able to speak out against this ever again. Because as soon as you start, they're just going to tweak it a little bit, and you just won't. And you won't even know the difference. You'll think that you are living your life regular, just as you always have. I won't sugarcoat anything on this channel anymore. I'm done with that. I'm done sugarcoating. I'm done trying to explain to certain people like they're four. When I get emails that people are telling me to explain to them this and that and to send them a bunch of stuff and which I do respond and say like, hey, you can go here, here, and here, but I'm not going to do all the work for you. I'm sorry. I'm doing my part right now by making this video. In contrast to what the world tells us is fake news, we indeed serve a risen Savior, whose words are true and certain. He is the true Son of God, and He's coming very soon to take us to the place. He's preparing for us. We can be absolutely certain of this. Our hope rests on a sure foundation, Jesus. Okay, let's see. It's just about purchasing his book and all this stuff. I haven't looked into this guy much, but he did write a good article here, I will say, absent, certain things, but his heart's in the right place, and he did, quote Harari, and he quoted all that, and he delivered a pretty good article. I wanted to get to something else today, but I have to go to bed soon for work, so I might just end it right here. So, to recap, we have a World Health Organization that is getting ready to lock down 194 countries and rid them of their sovereignty to put the World Health Organization in complete control over the world's health. I guess you could say that. We also have the AI World Government Symposium, which is in early October of this year, and I'm going to post a link to that so you guys can go and look into that for yourself, so you can read all about it, see what it is, tell people about it. That's the main thing. Let people know about this stuff. Print papers, put them on cars, talk to your coworkers, your neighbors, let them know, hey, here's the evidence I'm bringing forth. Do something with it. Understand where we are. So maybe people can get together in their respective communities, and we just might be able to put a stop to this thing, even though it's already in full swing. All it would take is 5 seconds. That's all it would take. If everybody just said no, all at the same time, and just didn't, and turned against them. Nobody obeys, nobody rules. Now they got no one to do their bidding. So guess what? They're powerless. Same as you and me right now. Anyway, I'll have more for you guys. I got a lot of news articles I need to go through. What day's today? Monday, so probably Wednesday or Thursday I'll do that. Because I have a whole bunch of stuff I need to go through and whatnot, and I don't want to put too much in here and run over until after I go to bed. So we'll end it here for now. Let's pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen.